Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. It is time to analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin, also Ethereum, maybe some of required cryptocurrencies that the people say here in the comment section. Hope you're doing absolutely wonderful, guys. And we'll be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin. What do you think? What do I think? And I'll just be sharing my different scenarios and different possibilities. Make sure to absolutely destroy the like button, guys, if you do enjoy the content. We only got a few likes, okay? Almost 100, over 100 people watching. As we are just beginning right now, let me just turn here right away into the live stream, put some background music, and let's analyze the scenarios together. First of all, comment section. We're going to go through this, guys. 4-hourly time frame. What the heck is going on? Are we still looking for all-time highs, or are we feeling a bit bearish? We're going to take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Most importantly, 1 hour, 15-minute time frame, discussing the different scenarios according to Elliott wave theory, and also the most important levels of resistance and support. We kind of front-runned a few levels of resistance today. Not an easy short, have to say. If this rolls from here, I'm pretty sure not many people entered at high levels here on this short. Is it a good long? We can discuss that, right? Let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the community. Staffer1, shout out to the Legends Pro community. Much love to you, Staffer1. Burak, how are you doing? What's up? Supreme Sanj, hello, legends. On your trades, everyone. Jose Banuelas, oh yes, Carl Cox, let's go. Andy, should we open an epic short or long, says Steve. An epic short would have been the one from the other day. I think I got the YouTube here somewhere. Let me just, it should be this one. Yeah, that would have been the epic short the other day on the live stream. We were pumping into this area, and this would have been the epic short entry, which, you know, did drop over $4,000 in throughout the night. It took less than 24 hours to come back down to 107K, which was a good $4,000 to $5,000 drop from that exact rejection of the anchored VWAP, lower high resistance. We had also, I'm not sure, 50% Fibonacci from the lower highs to the lows right there for that possible wave 4 on the higher time frame. There was just so much going on here at 114K. And we were a few $100s before ending the live stream. I was very much aware this is not the exact moment to short. We need to hit that anchored VWAP, get above those lower highs for an SFP, the green box basically, as you can see here. And we tapped the level, I think it was about an hour later or so, or two after the stream. And then we started rolling down pretty aggressively. So that was a very, very good short for anybody that did take that here on YouTube. Okay, so right now I have to say we hit some epic support yesterday, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. You kind of get a drop, you get this choppiness. We had a weekly naked point of control, right? It just it was a good, I mean, we haven't pumped massively from that level, I have to say, but it's a nice $2,000 pump. It's a nice day trade, it's a nice entry, weekly naked point of control. We need to go zone by zone, right? Zone by zone. We mentioned this level of support on yesterday's video update. Of course, coming to hit the low here, one more time, or get the bounce and then move down. Eventually, however we get down to this level, it doesn't really matter in this zone, with a bounce and then down, or down directly and then an epic bounce of, well, a couple of $1,000. And eventually the short trade that was, it's a setup, right? No financial advice. It's a scenario. We need a rejection, but ultimately the anchored VWAP with 50% Fibonacci, and we were looking for that swing failure pattern basically from the lower highs right there, right? It was just such a good, look at this. I mean, it's absolute beauty. Entry on the rejection, stop loss at the high. Forget about whatever happens. You have a stop loss, you have an invalidation, and if the price moves down, you're making a 2-3 to 1 risk reward. You want to obviously start thinking of collecting some profit. So just a very, very technical how the price has moved the last few days regarding levels, right? where we at right now, you know, I mean, on yesterday's video update, we did mention this zone at 50% golden pocket zone in yesterday's video update. If this has to be bearish and this is a impulsive move down, this is the kind of interesting area. However, we've front runned so many levels here, guys. We've got a daily, we've got a point of control of a range, you know, it's slightly above. And for me, if the price rolls down from here, I would happily say, you know, I've missed a short. Okay, because entering here on the pump with the pullback, it's just not, yeah, it's just not feasible, right? We do have some major levels to the upside here. So on Tuesday, beautiful rejection from that swing failure pattern of these highs and the 50% Fibonacci, you know, considering the bearish case, which is a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, right? And then 4 and 5, 50% lower high. It's just a kind of a great stop loss hunt, liquidity grab, and then, you know, smack back down. So that would have been a good, that's, you know, that would have been the good short, right? If you're asking me, do we get into an epic short or epic long? Where the price is right now, I'm going to give a few scenarios, and with those few scenarios that we do have, there's some setups, right? I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 different scenarios on how the price can move, right? I don't know how the price can move because, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, right? But I do know that it can move in like 4 or 5 different waves, and with those 5 different, you know, scenarios, there are levels, and they are, you know, important levels of confluence. We can analyze the waves, how it can, you know, reach those levels, and obviously we can take that trading decision once we hit the level, depending on the reaction. We know where to put stop loss. We know when to enter. So yeah, it's just going to be a little bit of patience here, because where we currently are at the moment, just kind of a bit in no man's land. It's a little bit in no man's land. But anyway, this was an epic short. Maybe some of you did enter that short on the anchored VWAP, 50% Fibonacci, lower high SFP that was given, especially talking about wait, guys, wait. You know, if we front run the level, it doesn't matter. You don't want to long up here. Wait for the level to be tapped. Wait for the attempt of breakout. And just about an hour or two after we hit the VWAP, we got above those lower highs, green box, we started rejecting, entry, stop loss at the high. You know, you could be in that position still. So yeah, today, new scenarios. We need to talk about new scenarios. We want to talk about more trading. Where's the next trade, right? Where's the next trade line? And that's why you're here, right? Based on the higher time frame. So let's get this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Make sure to destroy the like button, guys, if you do enjoy the content. We're just going through basically the levels, that what's happened in the last few days. This was the rejection, and this was the insane support here. Very, very, very technical. You know, very, very technical level to get a reaction bounce, which was that weekly naked point of control. You know, this is a solid level already just by its own. And yeah, that's the zone where we got this nice little rally in the last 24 hours, right? Of $2,000 to $3,000, nothing too major, but already acceptable to be in a trade and, you know, collect some profits eventually on the way up and maintain some of that position open. So based on this area of rejection of the VWAP, based on this level of support, in the middle right now is you know, so we got a massive barrier of resistance that I would like to see being hit and possibly rejected, and that's where I would look for my next short position. We're gonna talk about it. There's some interesting levels here which we are not too far away of. I'm going to explain how the price action needs to, you know, hit that zone, how it needs to react to that zone. Because if we break this area, there's not much above us. There's not much above us, I have to say. And the price needs to form a lower high here for the bearish case to come and claim the low. Because if we break this area where we have all of this confluence, we have a chance here of getting all the way to the highs. So there is an area of no trade zone for me. There is an area of no trade zone also in this zone. And under this area, there's a trading zone. Okay, so we'll go zone by zone, level by level, and we'll try and explain the waves here that we could form. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to do. It was nice to see that rejection here from this zone. This was just such a good trade, guys. You know, hopefully some of you guys here on YouTube did manage to catch that swing failure pattern, you know, anchored VWAP touch. And, you know, based on video update from yesterday, you know, possibly get into a long position here at the point of control. We're going to talk about the next levels, next scenarios. You know, I have it already in my mind, and I want to try and explain it here throughout the next hour or so. Okay, let's see those people joining right away. Front ran Andy, past, yeah. Front ran, sorry, my bad. That is true, Tom D. English is my second language, so you might see me not talking proper English. Spanish is my first language, okay? So we can do a Spanish live stream. That would be epic. Yo vengo de Cuba. Con mi gozadera. Anyway, long from now, says Hatmon. Yes, if not impulse, then correction, and we waiting for a C wave. But situation isn't clear. The situation is not too clear here. Andy, what are your current thoughts on ICP? Yeah, ICP, my current thoughts is we're going to hold on. I'm going to hold on. I'm not saying I'm talking for myself. You know, I'm down on the spot bag a lot, guys. I put over $50,000 on ICP, and I'm down like, I don't know, something like 25K or so. So yeah, it's been a bit of a hit on the spot bags. I got stopped out on a trade. Luckily, it was the only trade position that I had open on that major event, right? The event that we had Friday 2 weeks ago was an event to be defensive. Have a stop loss, accept a 1-2% loss, okay, of your trading capital or your entire, you know, funds or capital that you have. And I took the little hit, but you know, whoever did not trade responsibly, well, they're down big time. But I think everybody's down on major altcoins since the drop. You know, we haven't had a V-shaped recovery. You can talk about any crypto, basically. There are a few of them, but they have most of them haven't recovered from the Friday drop, right? They've kind of got a halfway dead cat bounce. This is crypto, guys. You know, there's no one that can say, oh, we're making absolute insane gains on altcoins, because it's not the truth. Sos español, Andy? Sí, señor. De España. Pedro, ¿de dónde eres tú, amigo? Anyway, happy with either direction. Goes up, make money. Goes down, buy more. Absolute legend here. Endured X. Yeah, I mean, I'm at that spot. I haven't been buying Bitcoin on spot for a long time. I've actually been selling. So, yeah, I'm taking profits in the last, you know, few months, basically. I've sold 25% of my entire spot Bitcoin. And if we do drop eventually and we go to a bear market in the next coming months, I've got enough to sell more at all-time high. And if we were to enter a bear market, which I do not think is the case, we'll just be happy to buy a bit more Bitcoin at much cheaper prices. I would consider buying below $80,000. If we do get below $80,000, I would consider buying, but not below 100K, 90K. Not interested. As I think we could go eventually below 80 and 70K in the bear market, guys, even though I know this is the thing of every cycle. Okay, I've been here since 2018, and trust me, there was a lot of people that thought, you know, Bitcoin was not going to drop below $20,000. It's not going to drop below the previous all-time high. This is it. Adoption is real. This whole thing about adoption and institutions coming in, this was already real in this area of the bull market. You know, a lot of people might think Bitcoin's not going to go below 70K, right? Or 60K. I do think at least below 70K in the bear market, it will go below 70K in my opinion. So just going to have to wait patiently to buy at cheaper levels, if not maintain that bag. Anyway, we're not here to speculate on that. We're here to take a look at the internal movements to see what is the highest probability on the next potential moves. Okay, so I am still leaning that we are in a corrective structure from this all-time high, not from this one, because from this one we moved up in a three-wave structure, which is, you know, very disturbing for me. And what I'm leaning on here is that we formed a 5-wave move up from this zone, from the April lows. And I am looking at this to be an ABC flat. Okay, yes, we've moved down impulsively, so could we bounce correctively? And hey, this was actually the top of the bull run, and we break down later on in the next coming weeks in a third wave. I have to say, if the movements up are going to be very choppy and corrective and just a bunch of noise and just nothing strong about the movement up, I would be leaning on, okay guys, we'll come up here. I think that, you know, I will be saying, guys, there's high probability and claiming the lows of the range just because the movement up looks very messy and very corrective. There's no good volume, no steam, but we need that information, of course. So we're not going to speculate on it, right? For the moment, we need to focus on the 1 hourly, 15-minute time frame and try and understand how the price has moved, right, in the last couple of weeks. Especially the movement up that we have from this low right over here. Let's do it on Coinbase because I have the levels here much more organized. Okay, this is going to be the overall question. It's all good. At the end of the day, we do trade liquidity grabs and major levels, regardless of Elliott wave theory, right? At the end of the day, we trade uptrend, downtrend, follow the trend, levels of Confluence, bit of Fibonacci. We add Elliott wave theory on the possible scenario that could happen, just to give us a little bit of more confidence, right? So let's talk about the bearish case. We did talk about this zone on yesterday's video update. We are looking for a possible bounce in this region, because what we're looking at in the bearish case scenario, okay, hear me out here, because there is a bullish one eventually that we need to go through. But we are looking for a bounce in this region. There's lots of support. We've got a major drop of $4,000 already. It's getting choppy. I would not expect, you know, a breakdown here. I mean, it could eventually, but this is the zone where we're expecting a bounce to come back up to the daily level, point of control of the range, which is had a slight front run for the moment. The price has dropped about $1,000 or so from today, from creating that high. So we got a daily level. We got the point of control of this range. Big range of the last 2 weeks. Big high volume node. Oh, well, with this consolidation, it's changed. We got a nice high volume node from yesterday's consolidation here. But the, you know, biggest volume node is up here as well, right? That was the point of control of the range yesterday. This area is strong resistance. I'm going to explain a little bit eventually what would be the bearish case. This move down for me does look a little bit more impulsive. Okay, the movement down, it's not too clear. You need to go to the 5-minute time frame, but you've had an aggressive move down. It did get a bit of choppiness here, and then more aggressive waterfall, and then it's kind of chopping here, right? Where it's kind of your 5th wave. And that's where we got the bounce throughout the last 24 hours, right? Nice little bounce of about $3,000, which is, you know, very nice, sitting at the point of control of the previous week, right? Weekly naked point of control, holding nicely at support. This bounce right now, there's a few scenarios. There is a few scenarios here. We either have an ABC flat, okay, which, you know, for me, preferably the high, you know, would be in, okay, but obviously we do have the most important zone of confluence between 110.5 and 110.8, which is that point of control of the range. That's where we have the biggest zone of confluence. We do have the point of control slightly above us. 50% was even the 50% was, you know, not even hit from the movement down. Just missed it by a few dollars. Maybe on another exchange it did hit it. But preferably, you know, you do hit the daily or the range point of control, right? Preferably you would want to see this movement go up and then, you know, retrace from the levels. Today we got this retracement of $1,000. So for me, there was no short to be taken on the pump here, to be honest. I was like waiting for the levels to be hit and then take a trading decision. So could we get up there right now? I mean, absolutely yes. I mean, the ideal scenario here would be attempting to break up here in the next coming hours and fail to break up. If it fails to break up, we can consider the short on the rejection, because for the bears on the higher time frame, what we are looking at is still this general idea that we are moving down in an impulse. Okay, I mean, till proven otherwise. This is why, if this is not going to test the lows here, and this movement to the upside that we mentioned on yesterday's video update is either an expanding diagonal in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which they are not common, or it's a double 1, 2. And yesterday we were talking about, I would prefer this to be 1, 2 and this 1 and 2 here with a flat. And literally, you know, if that is the case, this has to be the low. Double 1, 2 preferably, because it's more common than a expanding diagonal. So there is a kind of a cheeky chance. There's a cheeky chance that if this is the end, okay, because there are ways in counting this movement to the upside in a bullish case, either expanding diagonal, which preferably we would form a lower high and then come down. We'll talk about that scenario right away. But there is that cheeky bullish scenario. There is a cheeky bullish scenario, which I am not too fond of, because your wave 2 here is extremely long from your wave 1, and that is uncommon. More common when the waves 2 are long, you preferably want to label them as a B wave or an X wave more commonly. And you know, we have been down trending, right, from that big crash from Friday 2 weeks ago. So this bounce does look better as a corrective structure, but we need to talk about the bullish case. One bullish case is the 1, 2. This 1, 2 looks horrible already. And then this second 1 and 2 is much longer in price action and time than your first 1, 2. And your second, third 1, 2s, you preferably want to see them smaller, okay? Before you get that wave 3 to the upside. So it's not the preferred scenario here, really, because second 1, 2 is much larger. Your first 1 and 2 is just the wave 2 is very long, guys, compared to your wave 1, and it's very common to see B waves and even, you know, X waves longer, okay, than your A wave or your Y wave. So however, we need to obviously take that chance, take it into consideration. 1 and 2, then eventually you break out in 3, 4, 5, and this right over here would be your wave 1, your wave 2, then 3, 4, 5 eventually. We're going to put this larger here so we can show here. This would be the scenario, and inside of this movement we have an A, B, C, right? We'll just put that like this. It's without a doubt a possibility, but I just don't, you know, it's like looking for the bullish case scenario, right? If I'm only bullish on Bitcoin, I would only be looking for the bullish case, right? Well, this maybe is it, right? This is maybe it. However, when you go with the probability side of the market, this is rare. Getting this wave 1 and this massive wave 2, very long in time compared to your first wave 1. It's more common for a B wave or an X wave and a WXY. And then your second 1 and 2, my goodness, this is like really long with a flat in the middle compared to your first 1, 2. So doesn't look good, right? If you're expecting a massive rally here, it doesn't look too good, right? You're kind of looking for something that is not there and has low probability when we look at elite wave theory. So this scenario, nah. This is like for if you want to be very bullish and you like only blinded on the bullishness. You need to realize that it is possible, though. That's why, if this were to be the case, that this was an ABC flat, your best shot here, without a doubt, was either, basically yesterday, early this morning, right? We got one more move down here. This area on the reaction of this weekly naked point of control is your best option, because if this is the low, this is the kind of trade that you would want to have some open, take some profits eventually, because you realize that, that the bearish case scenario has higher probability, even though we don't like it, guys. Bearish case scenario has higher probability based on the structure, the rejection, the waves that we have on these bounces. But you want to hold some of this position, because there is the option that this could be the low locally, and maybe in the next coming days, entering into next week, we're trading at 120k when we get the surprise pump. And the main reason eventually that you want to speculate on this being the low is because you have a reason why, right? There is double 1 2, and the second wave 2 is a flat, and you're literally hitting the 7/8 Fibonacci. You're scratching below the 7/8 Fibonacci. Even the 0.88 is like your last level here for a higher low, if you consider this scenario. So that's your best option for the most bullish case. The second bullish case scenario, which I'm going to go through right away. Okay, let's talk bullish, guys, because I kind of have a gut feeling, guys, that it's going to be bullish. It's going to be very, very bullish. I have a feeling that we're going to get above 114 and even 116k. This kind of downtrendy structure, I kind of seen it before. Where you're downtrending, you've already claimed the low of the big drop. That's the party's over for the bears kind of thing, right? It's just this movement up is horrible, and there is a reason to believe that you could have one more low because of your double 1 2 here. But I kind of had this gut feeling that it does look like a bump and run. You had your first failed breakout, right? Classic. It's like a bump and run. It's just getting ready for the massive reversal from the major collapse we had 2 weeks ago, right? First attempt failed. Second attempt might be the one, right? Bump and run. We used to talk about this a lot a few years ago, right? Where you have the, it's a reversal scenario, right? You get an epic liquidation collapse. The price chops around, tests the lows a few times, right? This would be like a double 1 2 3, and double 4 5 right down there, right? Also on a bump and run. So you're kind of chopping around here, and this is like bubbling up for the massive reversal, right? It's like really cooking here to get the rally, fake out from the trend line, get the correction, and then maybe the next attempt does get the breakout of the low highs, right? Out of speculation, of course, right? And no matter how bad this move up looks, there is the bullish case, right? The bullish case is there, right? So what if this movement down has already finished in a 5 wave? I mean, you would have to have some kind of a running flat structure here, which, you know, they're not the preferred scenarios for that wave 2. Instead of a double 1-2, you got a running flat in your wave 2 instead of this being 2, 1, 2. So there's no need for another low. So what if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What if we have finished already the, you know, higher time frame ABC flat, right? What if this is already, hang on a minute, where is it? I'm looking for it here. Yeah, what if this is already on Coinbase? We formed the low already, and now we're just ready for that epic reversal. You got 3 wave down, 3 wave up, big flash crash, tested the lows on major spot exchanges already. You know, it seems like the business has been done here, right? We've finished business down here. We've liquidated so many people. We're in massive fear. I have that bullish sentiment inside of me for a big reversal. Also on Ethereum, I am expecting Ethereum to hit all-time high in the next coming weeks. So I kind of don't want to feel too bearish here, but when we go through the technicals and the probabilities, you just need to be aware that it doesn't look, it's not the greatest, right? It's not the greatest here. Bounce to the upside. Let's talk about the possibility of the price rejecting. Well, let's talk about the next bullish case scenario, which is the expanding diagonal, okay? The expanding diagonal to the upside, we're literally looking at something like this, right? We do not manage to break above 111K. We reject from the daily, naked point of control, might stretch its legs to golden pocket from, you know, the high here from Tuesday to the pivot low. This is going to be a decision moment. If we rally up there today in the next coming hours, this is a zone that if, you know, you get the rejection beneath the levels, it could be the high, right? This could be the high, and you might come down to sweep up the lows of yesterday. At the end of the day, it's a liquidity game, and inside of a range, you kind of, you know, sweep highs, sweep lows. If you form a lower high here, you're looking to sweep up the lows again. This bullish case scenario, let me just change this to, you know, more medium size, is an expanding diagonal to the upside. If the price were to move down here, this is the last zone to hold for the bulls. Of course, you have the higher low, which is great for an SFP right there. We love these higher lows for a swing failure pattern. And if this is an expanding diagonal, and this is an A wave, this is a B wave, you form a lower high in this region, and then you come down for a ABC zigzag, there's only 2 levels here that the price needs to hold. If it doesn't hold and gets a reaction bounce, then if we lose those levels, we're going down, right? It's just like yesterday. If you lose this weekly naked point of control, yeah, you had the golden pocket from the pivot low to the high. I mean, I have to say, yeah, this was actually a pretty interesting area, right? Just sweeping those higher lows right there. It's just a good reactionary zone. But if you lose that weekly naked point of control, you're kind of not interested in longing in this zone until maybe this higher low for a swing failure pattern, right? Which is very common as well. So the price, if it does form a lower high, your bullish case, expanding diagonal A, B, C, your last level for the bulls to not take out this low eventually is creating a swing failure pattern from that higher low of Sunday at 116k. This is like the only level, and that's your guidance really. If you lose it, you're not interested. If you reclaim it, you're interested. And this would be an epic long, I have to say. If this were to be the low, you know, potentially after 1 week, you know, we are trading all the way up here, right? It's a kind of an epic swing long potential based on the bullish case, which does not hold the highest probability, unfortunately, but the probability is there. The only option that you have is if you hit this level, you break it, you're not interested in taking the long anywhere underneath this zone until you hit this low. Then you need to wait for the price to bottom out. You've got a daily level at 100k, 100.9k, right? I wouldn't be in a rush for long in here. I mean, if you do create an aggressive swing failure pattern from here, I'll maybe consider it, but I would prefer a breakdown here, if I'm honest, of a few $1,000s. Let the price go. I wouldn't be in a rush to long if we test the lows of last Friday. But for a higher low, there's only two major options, two major levels. It is the swing failure pattern from this higher low, which is in confluence with the 7/8 Fibonacci taken from the Friday low to the highs of Tuesday, which would be that A wave or the wave 1 in the most bullish case scenario. And you know, 50% Fibonacci is 105.9k. That's just below this higher low. So it's kind of, these two levels are the ones that you need to get back above to potentially consider that long trade stop loss beneath the low of the fake out. And I would consider this a swing long position. This level could be also a swing long. You know, there is that chance for this to be the low. But as mentioned, I don't think so. There's low probability, but it's one of those entries that you want to have some open. You know, if you roll down from here, if you entered here, then you get stopped out from the rest of the position. You move down to this zone. If you reclaim 7/8 Fibonacci and this higher low, it's another entry stop loss. I would consider it as a swing long because it has the potential to really, you know, get above 114k after a week or so. So it's the only major level that looks very interesting, okay, for a long. If you did not long here yesterday, then the only zone to consider is the recovery from the fake out. And this is, guys, you need a long on, you know, you don't need to do anything that I say, but no financial advice. But where you want to basically get into a trade, just like the other day when we were talking about the anchored VWAP, right? Remember on the stream just 2 days ago. You get above it, you don't want to try and catch the short because it could break out a few $1,000s and then you're underwater. You want to get into the trade as you retrace, as you fake out from it, right? Up. And when you're moving down, you want to get into the movement down. You're not entering against the pump. Wait for the price to get above it. If it maintains above the level, you do not do anything. You don't enter with a limit short and then you go and, have a walk or go for dinner and then come back and, hope for the best. You don't want to trade like that. You want to see the reaction. You want to see the rejection. You enter and your stop loss becomes above the high. So this is exactly what happened. We were talking about this. There's no moment to short here. Wait for the anchored VWAP to be hit. Sweep those lower highs. If it rejects, you can enter the trade. And that's, literally what happened, right? You swept the highs. You got above it. You got below it. Boom. Stop loss. Move down. this explanation, I don't know if this is going to happen, guys, but we are here to share a few scenarios that could happen, right? If from this low, we have a 5-wave move to the upside, it's an expanding move, so they are rare scenarios. The multiple 1-2, as explained on yesterday's video, with this being a flat, is better than an expanding diagonal. So this has also the potential of being the low. And you know, in a few days, we'll be trading above 114K. It has the chance. It has the chance. This was one scenario that we mentioned also. If that is not the low, we're going to go through the bearish case scenarios, guys, which I prefer. I prefer, but it doesn't mean because I prefer it, it needs to happen, right? I kind of have that gut. My analysis tells me that we're coming to claim the low in the next coming days, potentially. My analysis says this. My gut feeling says this is the low. Or if it's not the low, this is going to be the low. And we're going to rally, you know, well above 414K in the next coming days. I need to be realistic here. I need to stick with the analysis. You know, even though I kind of have that, just because there is bearish sentiment, there is extreme fear, and there is actually some people being bearish, which is very disturbing for me. When I go through X and I go through how much bearishness there is, because there is, guys. I mean, I need to ask the community right away. We'll go through the bearish scenarios. My analysis says higher probability that, you know, all of this is going to be a part of a corrective structure. There's other corrective scenarios that were also mentioned on the video update yesterday, but we're going to talk about them today. And that we're going to claim the low at some point, right? That's what the analysis does suggest with you know, basically the probability side of it. But I have a gut feeling that we're going to absolutely moon, guys. You know, it's like this is ready to pop already, and Ethereum looks incredibly good. I have to say, Ethereum. I mean, this is because of Ethereum as well. I have that feeling here on Ethereum that this has the chance to be the end of the WXY, you know, finishing in a triangle. Man, it just looks so good. And you got that fake out on an E wave, right? Your invalidation is taking out that low from last Friday, which it hasn't. And this is very classic for an E wave. I mean, it is an aggressive entry right there, if you're like trying to catch. But oh my goodness, and an E wave faking out from the trend line is just so classic on a triangle inside of a Y wave. Well, in a regular triangle, basically. And this kind of looks good to start reversing. But yeah, I mean, I put my whole faith on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to go down, yeah, you can have the most bullish chart on an altcoin that Bitcoin's going to drag down the rest of them, right? So I'm leaning on, okay, maybe this scenario is possible. Or maybe the double 1-2 is also possible, okay? Which would mean that this is the low, and you're just basically building up here your first wave, maybe correction, and then, you know, wave 3, and it breaks out. Well, that's like being a bit of hopium, right? A bit of hopium for the bulls out there. So yeah, if we were to break this level of resistance, which we have the range point of control from this area, basically, and a daily level, we haven't got much here, basically, right? There's just not much in this zone. This was just a little slow downtrend, no volume, no nothing. There's really not much going on here above 111.5, if you wish. Of course, you got the golden pocket, but if you start breaking above this zone successfully, I do think that we could be reaching 114. So this is like the decision zone if we fail to break out from 111K, you know, I am going to consider the rollover. I am going to consider the movement down back to the lows of yesterday. Okay, so it's the decision zone. We are trading above the level. I'm not interested in a short. We might get that on stream, see if we break out, or we, you know, hit the level and we reject. It might happen on stream, who knows? Just like this move that we had the other day. We had this move on stream the other day where there was two levels. We had this lower high and this one. And I was explaining, if we break above this high, I think we had another Confluence reason. If we break above this high, this zone, I'm not interested in the short. I'm interested after claiming these lower highs and the anchored VWAP, which was coming down exactly at this zone. So there's, you know, you get no trading zone. So if we break out from here, I can't short the market. You know, if the breakout is successful, you know, I can't get into a short here. I need to see the rejection of this major zone of Confluence, and it might stretch its legs to hit the golden pocket. So golden pocket needs to be eyed very carefully, which is, you know, just a few $100s above all of those levels. So yeah, this is like the decision taking zone. If you're trading above the daily and the range point of control, I would only eye the golden pocket. If you're breaking golden pocket already and you're trading above it, you know, I wouldn't be interested in taking the sniper short here. And preferably, you literally just, you know, move up and then move below the daily, the range point of control, and then you can execute that possible short, right? This ends up in a zigzag, and then, you know, you're looking for that movement down in a 5-wave structure to claim these lows of yesterday. So let's see. When it's pumping, nobody is, right? When it's pumping into the zone, oh, it's bullish, we're pumping, we're going to break, it's going to go higher, right? This is kind of what happened on the previous stream. Oh my goodness, guys, what a pump. This does look, I mean, this could break through. It could go to much higher levels, but we had the level where to exactly execute if it does reject. But you know, you kind of have that feeling of, holy smokes, this is not stopping. What a pump! Who wants to short here? You know, you kind of have that feeling of, oof. You know, it's just if you don't want to short, I can give you a trick here, guys. You're risking too much. Okay. That always happens in you know, in the career of a trader. When you are scared, or you know, if you don't want to execute a trade, you are risking too much, guys. Lower your risk on the trades, and you will become a much better trader, and you will scale much better. Okay, because I know from a fact, it's happened to me many times, guys, in the past. If I have $10,000 in my account, I want to risk $2,000-$3,000 on a trade. I want to go big, right? I want to go with 4, maybe 5,000, half of the account. I'm confident in this one. It's going to play out. It's natural. It's natural that we do risk more than 2-3%, right? We like to go with 20%, 30%. But then you take bad decisions. You know, you hold the trades to wait, expect a reversal. I mean, it's the story of everybody, basically, right? But when you're risking 2-3% and you don't mind about getting stopped out, you take the trades with confidence, much more confident, right? You don't make as much, but you don't lose as much, which is more important, right? So it's all about losing well, right? Losing small amounts. It's all about that, really. You know, controlling the losses, which is the main problem of most people. They cannot control their losses. So anyway, let's go through just a little bit of education there as well, right? Piled up in the analysis in the middle of nowhere, but it's always good. So Yeah, we talked about the bullish case. The most important area, it's a no-brainer here, guys. If you break above 111k successfully in the next coming hours, there's not much going on in here. So it either rejects that golden pocket from the movement down and kind of creates that fake out, or I would say we're probably coming up to the highs of 114k of last Tuesday. So this is the reversal area. The fake out zone it's a no-brainer. It's here. And what is interesting about that zone, regardless of the bullish or bearish case scenario, which is bullish case scenario, we just talked about it, it's this one. You moved in a 5-wave expanding diagonal, A, B, C, sweep the lows, 7-8 Fibonacci, SFP. People are going to be, it's coming down, you know, it's going to claim the lows. This is like decision. You take decision here. And the best decision eventually is an SFP of this higher low. Sweep that higher low of last Sunday with the 7-8 as guidance. You want to get back above the 7-8, guys, to consider that it can, you know, get that recovery bounce, fake out, get back above the lows of yesterday. Get back above, right? It's been a fake out. Decision point. You can see that you would be interested in a rejection in this zone anyway, in this scenario. In the bearish case, we have this potential. Impulsive move to the downside. All of this has been a corrective structure. There's a WXY, you got a zigzag here, correction, and another zigzag here, and this has been an impulse down, correction up. For the moment, a flat is an option, or you could have that zigzag here. This has just been a 4 in 5, and in the bearish case, this is your wave 1, this is your wave 2, and eventually your wave 3 just crumbles down, you know, very, very strongly, right? And then you get the 4th wave, bit of a bounce, you come back down to 100k, maybe below 100k. We're just gonna have to wait patiently to see that exhaustion, right? Once you get a big move down, you just wait for the price. You are gonna get a wave 4 at some point. You are gonna get one more low, and you look for that double bottom scenario. I think there's a daily level at 109k. 100.9k, naked point control at 101.4.5 actually, which I think I'm going to remain patient if it were to roll over aggressively with volume, because there will be a moment that it will consolidate. We'll have a bit of fresh zone to analyze the levels and the scenarios, and then we'll go from there. But this would be the bearish case. You would want to see a lower high from here on the most aggressive bearish case now. So you can see, even on this being an expanding diagonal bullish, A, B, C, and then bounce, or 1, 2, 3, you break down. So it's going to be great. I think we could hit those levels in the next coming hours. And there's only going to be 2 options, guys. You need those levels as guidance. Point of control of the range, 110.8k. Golden pocket, you do not want to get above the golden pocket successfully, because if it does, you're not interested in shorting up here. If you break all the levels, you know, this could really take some, you know, move up with steam. So either reject golden pocket or reject naked point of control and daily, which they're very close together, 110.8, 110.5. You hit the level, you reject, you know, you're good for the attempt. You're good for the attempt to come back down to the lows. That's literally your target here, your first target. I mean, so it is a move of, you know, $4,000 or so. No, about 4,000. So you don't need to go too big on these attempts. You know, it is a 4-5 to 1 risk reward depending on your entry. It's a, you know, significant, nice, small little swing trade. It might take a couple of days, or it might take 24 hours to get down there, just like this move. I mean, this was quick. So decision zone here. Decision zone for the bullish case is, as explained, one of them is this one. So this is decision zone for the rejection. Do we front run this level? I have to say it's a missed trade for me. If we roll down from here, this is just not, there's no solid entry here. There's no confluence. We're not even hitting 50% Fibonacci from the high to the low. It's just, for me, there's no short here to be taken. So I need to get above this zone and reject. So these are the boxes, guys. We're kind of in the middle of no man's land because we got the movement up on Tuesday to sweep up all of these lower highs. We got the movement down to sweep up these higher lows. We haven't swept this one, which is nice. We haven't got down to the low here. We are down trending still. So, but sweeping up these lows and even these lows will be a decision zone. So you can see the boxes here. And you're literally looking for the fake breakdowns, right? The fake breakdowns. All right, the fake breakout to the upside. Look for the rollover. Fake breakdown to the downside. Get the recovery and consider a decision. And this has the potential of being the low. I mean, I don't want to get people excited, but it has the potential of being the local low for a bigger move that could take several days, right? That actually gets to 114, 115, 16K, right? You know, potentially by next week. I have to be honest here. The scenario that I prefer based on the analysis, the scenario that I want is a recovery and hit all-time high. That's the scenario that I want because I got some Bitcoin that I want to sell. But the scenario that I do see that has a higher probability based on the information that we have is that this doesn't look nice for a double 1-2. It does a, you know, expanding diagonals are very rare. If you can count some kind of a correction, which would be a WXY, double zigzag in this zone, and if you have a, you know, an option of counting a double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another 4 and 5, another lower high here, and just claim the low, you know, this has a higher chance just based on the probabilities of what happens more often in a, you know, in a downtrend. Does an expanding diagonal happen more often than a double zigzag? No. The double 1-2 doesn't look nice at all. You have a big 1-2 here in a flat, which is much larger than this one. So, but you need I need to consider it, right? And when you've had such a major collapse down from the previous Friday, and on major spot exchanges, you have tested it already. I mean, this is a zone to really start thinking about a reversal. I mean, I have to be honest. I am, you know, it's either reversing from here or we test the lows and reverse. You know, we mentioned this last week where we are looking for a significant bounce. The question is, will we test the lows again, right? Will we test the lows? As the information has, you know, been evolving throughout the last few days with this pump and this dump, you know, you have some bullish scenarios, right? So it's either reversal from here or claim the lows, maybe hit 100K and then get a nice big fat reversal. But the general idea here is that this movement, the power of this move has already happened. The power of this move that has got everybody shaking in crypto and calling for bear market beginning has happened already, right? So you do not want many people, you know, calling for lower and bear market when the move has already happened. The big move has happened. So a relief rally, claiming this low or not, you know, is a good chance for the next couple of weeks. The overall question is, you know, do we claim the low or not? Well, we have this chance, expanding diagonal. It's not too common, but it does happen sometimes. Not much, but maybe this might be the time it does. it's a probability game at the end of the day, guys, right? I prefer the scenario that just has the highest probability, which is, this is, counts better as a correction. The movement down that we had from Tuesday does actually look pretty impulsive, but of course you can have the flat here. So it's like, the levels are the levels. You either hold a lower high in this zone where there's confluence, golden pocket, right? The same as the other day. If you reject from these lower highs, it's an SFP. The trading setups they are there anyway, right? Regardless of whatever wave you are in. The confluence areas and liquidity grabs, they are there for you to take a decision. The support levels are there. Weekly point of control from yesterday, from this zone of last week, bounce. It's a nice scalp day trade. You get a nice little bounce of $2,000. That's pretty cool for a day trade. So, where we at right now is a little bit of no man's land. And we either need to move up to the daily range point of control, attempt a breakout, and the breakout to fail. And how we know that breakout fails is literally getting back down, moving above the level and getting back below it. That's when you know this is probably failing. It's not holding as support. I want to short down to these recent lows, maybe with the possibility of breaking down to these lows at 103.6. So sometimes we do front run the levels, and maybe this is the case. If it were to roll down from me, I have to say this is not an easy short, not as easy as the one from last Tuesday where we rejected from the anchored VWAP very, very nicely, right? So that was a bit of an easier SFP, right, from these lower highs. Much, much, much better to execute a trade right there. Right now, as today is a bit uptrending, it's like, I don't know if I want to get into a short here, guys, right? Do you want to get into a short? Are we putting our stop loss, basically above the levels? Movement down locally, it does look very choppy. You get the point, right? It's just, how can I execute this safely? So I would rather wait, and if it doesn't, it's just it's a missed trade, right? Because there's opportunities almost every day or every other day, right? Every few days when we consider day trading. But this was a good short on Tuesday that was given and explained on a live stream on Tuesday, right? And then you have, this major level, of course, that bounced yesterday. And today, one of the levels are going to be hit for the bullish or the bearish case. One scenario is going to happen because the price is not going to stay in between 106 and 110 for, a week. There will be a moment that the price either attempts to move up from here, either continues up or fails. If it fails, I'm interested to short down to these lows. If it moves down from here, I'm interested in seeing the reaction from this higher low and the 7/8 Fibonacci. If we break down, I'm not interested. If we fail the breakdown, I'm interested. I got a stop loss. It's a failed breakout. It's already grabbed the liquidity. Now we can bounce. So yeah, we will hit one of these two levels at some point, down or up. If it breaks, you let it go. I would just, if it does break, it might just break powerfully, and then maybe we're just going to consolidate here later on throughout tomorrow. If it breaks down here, I'm not interested. I'm looking for the low to be claimed. I think this is an aggressive SFP. I wouldn't get into this SFP personally. I need to really check 1, 2, 3, right? You're going to maybe 4, dance around, double bottom later, right? But there will be a range formed once you break it. Then, we can look for another trade later on, maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow. So, yeah, that's a little bit of the, if you break the zone, I just let the price go, right? Let it go. instead of taking a bad decision. Anyway, let's go through the comment section now. Yes, guys, we need to go through the comment section. I hope you enjoyed a bit of the levels, the explanations. I hope that some of you did manage to get into a short trade. This was given on YouTube just on Tuesday. As we were pumping here at 113.5, let's wait for that cheeky lower high just under 114k to see if it fakes out or not. We explain how to trade it, and maybe some of you got into that short, right? Maybe, let me know. I did see a few people yesterday, I think, in the video commenting that they did enter that short trade. Daniel Singleton, much love to you, my man. Much love. Let's go. Best TA, best risk management, Fat Boy. Thank you very much, my man. Yo, Simon Jones. He's here, the legend, the Brit. How you doing, brother? Much love. Nice to see you here. Simon Jones pops in once in a while. Much love, my man, to you. Hope you're doing well, and your family, friends, health. Hope everybody's doing very well. Okay. Jerome, King Andy, much love, my man. It's time for comment section. Ethereum. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, my dogs. I got my missus, who's Spanish, and she likes to say, oh my goodness. This is why I'm shouting. She might be hearing. She says, oh my goodness, a lot now, because that's her favorite few words in English. Okay, so I mean, Ethereum, it depends on Bitcoin. If I am liking the bearish case on Bitcoin more, even though Ethereum looks bullish, I cannot deny that if Bitcoin decides to go below 103.6k, which is the lows of last Friday, because we are downtrending. We are downtrending. We are looking for a reversal, but this bounce doesn't look incredibly bullish. We have the risk of coming down. Ethereum is like, if Bitcoin comes down, I would just be ready to go max long if it were to test the lows from the Friday drop, because I do strongly believe that Ethereum, as mentioned a few weeks ago anyway, that we are going to hold this order block on the higher time frame, if you wish, that it's gonna hold, you know, and you know, if we were to claim the lows, I'm happy to catch the lows, right? Swing failure pattern from here, or worst case scenario, actually getting beneath this higher low right there, and that would be the moment. And I'm just worried about the possible bearishness on Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin can drop, you know, $5,000-$6,000 in the next coming days. Altcoins are going to take a hit of 10, 20, 30% maybe, right? Again, so, you know, this is the thing. I would just be happy to ready to long, because this is like the last shakeout, right? Wave 4s are very long. They're very complex. Test the lows, test the highs. It looks bullish, looks bearish again. And at the end of the day, there will be a moment that it just gets a fat recovery, and you know, you want to be in that massive recovery eventually, right? But the risks are Bitcoin can come down to the lows, and if that is the case, Ethereum and all the altcoins, right? Bitcoin is the king, right? So if Bitcoin does that, then altcoins will do that as well. Comment section time, legends. Let me know right away. Great channel, bro. Thank you. Much love to you, my man. Stav T. Great channel, bro. Thank you. Thank you for that. Those kind words. Much love to you, my man. CBM is the low in. Go and check out CBM, guys. Great guy. Great content. Great analysis. He's a legend. I play tennis with him, and I have to say, he always beats me, guys. He always beats me. He's better than me. But I am getting close. A lot of deuces. I am getting close. This guy, man. Got a spot for me. For who? CBM, there he is. Appreciate you. Kitos, I appreciate you too. Much love. Reg Capital. His is the best, by the way, analysis. BTC. Who's that from? Great vibe, Andy. Much love. Daniel V. Much love to you. Much love. I am Meezy. Do we take a look at some altcoins? What do we take a look at now, guys? Do we actually focus on Ethereum? Andy, ¿qué tal, hermano? Y Dan Levy, mucho amor. Amigo, Crypto SA. Thanks, Andy. Axel Flavia, like you said on last video, perfect technical analysis. Thank you very much, my man. Much love. Go and check out the previous video. We talk about a few scenarios. There's actually a few more scenarios on Bitcoin, but I think people are just going to have... I do mention them on yesterday's video, okay? It's just the WXY here extending. When there is a higher time frame wave 4 potential, your last wave 4 can be longer in time. It can be very choppy and confusing when we are considering the bearish case, right? Which is the impulsive move to the downside, right? This could still extend, right? This could still, you know, form all sorts. You can even you have the potential of getting above 114k and actually rejecting from that zone. I mean, I think we have a little high volume nodes, naked point of control in this region. Yeah, I mean, you can get 115k being resistance. There is a double zigzag, okay, possibility where you have zigzag up, you have the flat here, and now you form a zigzag to the upside. We talked about this on yesterday's video update. Or you have the ABC flat as well. I explained it on yesterday's video. Or you form a triangle, right? Which you could consolidate in this region, guys, for the next few days. If that is the case, we can consider zigzag up, flat, and triangle. And then we just roll down in the end, right? You know, at the end of the day, you zoom out and you're thinking, well, we are kind of down trending, so I guess it would make sense. But you still need a couple of more days here, maybe entering into the weekend. They're all corrective. They're all leaning on the movement down. And what is common from a higher time frame wave 4 is that your last wave 4 eventually is you're looking for it to be longer. Because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is part of a third wave. Then you have the long fourth wave and then 5. All of this is your third wave. I'm not sure if you guys can see, and if I am in the middle. Right? A little bit of too much drawing. So, ¿quién sabe? A lo mejor sí, a lo mejor no. Time for comment section. We're going to take a look at Ethereum right away. Why not? Go through Ethereum. Not much news. Liquidity. Yes, there is that liquidity to the downside. Okay. But, you know, when you go to the 30-day here, there's a lot of liquidity to the upside. We got some liquidity below 106k, right? So, you know, why not? Below 107k. Why not? There's actually some liquidity piling up here on longs. But there's liquidity on both sides, right? Both sides to the upside at 114k plus or below 107k. There is a lot of liquidity up or down, right? So, yeah, let's go. Is there any favorite altcoin? Andy, would you suggest any books to study Elliott Wave theory? Well, I would say the, you know, Elliott Wave principle. Elliott Wave principle is very compacted and it's just purely Elliott Wave, right? And that goes through Fibonacci very well. So Elliott Wave principle would be the book to go to. Okay. Very well explained. So Elliott Wave principle. ¿Qué dices, Andy? ¿Vamos a 200k? ¿Sí o no? Yo creo que no. Somebody asking in Spanish here si nos vamos a 200k. I don't think so. I don't think Bitcoin's going to 200k, but I would say that we could be going to 130, 140k-ish, and then we'll see how we move up there. But I like the idea, legends, that we have formed a 5-wave move up here. Okay, which is, hang on a minute, this one right over here. Okay. So this is a finished leg up. However, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is disturbing is what makes more sense here is that we're forming a flat and that we had a 3-wave move up. So this is very disturbing for me, and it's telling me that we are inside a corrective structure. Of course, we can form an ABC flat here in wave W. You form a rally to 120k if you wish to form a wave X, and then you form either a flat and wave Y. You get back down maybe to 100k, a very expanding flat in your wave Y. Maybe you form a bit of a sharp zigzag down to get below 100k, and then you move up. So I mean, this could extend for a few more weeks, but what I see here is that this is a flat. The flat has the potential for this to be the low, and that we rally in the next coming weeks to all-time high. It still has the potential, but why does this have the highest probability for the moment? Is because of the 3-wave structure that we had from the lows in August. 3-wave up. If this would have finished like this, and then we would have got this drop, I would have said, I'm not liking this, guys. If we would have had a consolidation and moved up one more time, and we got this epic drop liquidation event, I would have said, this does not look good, guys. I'm looking for a possible corrective bounce and, you know, maybe wave 3 later on. But that was not the case. We finished in a 3-wave up and then a movement down, which we were very much aware of. I haven't got that. And this would still be part of a corrective structure. You got a flat here right now. The question is the flat going to be the low? The C wave going to be the low? Or is it going to extend a few more weeks to form that complex WXY, which kind of seems silly talking about it right now because we just need more information, right? We've got a flat right now, so it just could extend for a few more weeks, just so you're aware. But everything points out that, yeah, we are in corrective structure. Even though the movement down is impulsive, I am still looking for all-time high, guys, at some point, maybe entering into November, maybe December, on the higher time frame. Okay, just because for me, the reason is simple. We moved up in a 3-wave structure. We were very much aware of this scenario happening. So yeah, that's basically it. Guys, much love to everybody. We'll go through the comp section right away, guys. Remember that down below you do have insane bonuses on the exchanges. 20% cashback, $10,000 deposit bonus. On BTCC, you have Bluffin. BTCC is absolutely great, guys. It works perfectly. It's been active since 2011, and you got the biggest bonus available with the link down below, okay? Up to $10,000 in deposit bonus. The more you trade, the more airdrops you're going to get, so you can increase your capital for trading, okay? Take advantage of that. BTCC is down below, and you also get access to the VIP community, which I'm sharing, you know, the possible scenarios that I see. I need to get more active in there because I think people want day trading setups. They want to know, bam, in and out, right? And, you know, just like this one, not yesterday, well, the rejection that we had from the anchored VWAP, just say, guys, boom, short trigger, stop loss above the high, and that's what people want, right? So we're really going to go into more of that, just not providing the signal, just providing what I'm doing basically, and just give that entry. I'm putting a stop loss here. If you want to follow, you follow, right? Because we need to protect ourselves, you know, the people that are sharing the information, because we're not financial advisors. If you want to follow, you take the decision, and I just share what I do, right? There's a very, very thin line there where you can get into trouble, right? You can get into trouble, and there's nothing that's financial advice. You're just sharing what you're doing, and then the people decide to take that decision. Staffer One, my man, much love to you, brother. Coin knows the game too. Yeah, he's very much, you know, he's very good at elite wave theory. I would say he's actually better than me. He's very, very good, very well organized. You know, he's very, very cool with elite wave theory. Crack, ¿qué piensas de un long en 102k? ¿Puede caer hasta 100k? No se puede poner el stop loss 96 por el momento, pero es muy grande ese stop loss. Cambar, what a question here in Spanish. Had to read it all through. Yeah, I mean, he's basically asking here, just for the people that wants to know the question here from Canva. Is there a good long at 102k? Is 102k a good long? We do have some levels down there, which is a daily, as you can see here. We do have a naked point of control. There's not much also beneath this low. He's asking, is it a good decision to long if we were to come down to sweep up the lows? I mean, yeah, you can SFP from this low. I would want to wait, because if you move down in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would want to wait to bottom out. But it is without a doubt a zone where you might get a lot of buying pressure. If the price were to come down here, right, let's speculate, it might not come down here, guys, and the low is in, right? There's some local bullish case scenarios here that are very disturbing from the information that we have in the last few days, as explained at the beginning of the stream and on yesterday's video update also. But I think, the probabilities, based on the information, are still higher to claim that low. The movement up doesn't look too great as an impulse. Expanding move or double 1, 2, it's just not looking too great for the bullish case, right? So, but there are bullish scenarios, so you just need to consider. My gut feeling, as explained at the beginning of the stream, is like, there's something about this movement there is something about this. I mean, the biggest drop has happened and you've tested the lows already. There is something here about this move that it does look like it's going to roll over to claim this low, and then it does this, woof, right? And you kind of boom, boom, sweep all the highs. Sometimes these gut feeling movements do happen, guys, and there is a valid bullish count, but what can we say? It doesn't hold the highest probability, and we need to stick to the analysis, right? We need to stick to the technicals. But this guy that's asked in the comment section, is it feasible to get into a long position, 102 as we lose these lows, and stop loss at 96k? I mean, this is literally stop loss beneath this low. The problem is, by losing this low, if we lose the daily level and the naked point of control, which is the only levels that we have at 101 to 102k, it could really get that extra push down to get below 98k. This would be a good long. It needs to be level by level. What can we say? Level by level. We identify as traders and technical analysts just the same long position that we got in as a day trade just about 2 weeks ago. We identified a daily level. I think it was a point of control as well. There we go. Point of control, and there was a daily level in this zone as well. And we are, in the Legends Pro community, we identified, I was sharing this possible scenario. We're looking for we were trading in this zone. And there's going to be a reason why I explain this, guys, going through the local chart. When you have this price action, after a big move down, you realize it can be a wave 4. And you realize that wave 5 has low probability to get a big move. Of course, you need levels to reclaim. If you have Confluence on the chart, they act as guidance. If you have a daily level here or a point of control and you break it, but you reclaim it, you can enter along, stop loss beneath the low, and you targeting the top of the 4th wave, which is more common, and that's giving you a 3-to-1 risk to reward right there on this day trading setup. Now, the reason is, this is to answer someone that's asking me, can we long 102k and put stop loss at 96k and eventually target all-time high in the next coming weeks or few months? we need to check how we get down. The main reason I talk about this is because, and this is where we have a daily and a naked point of control, right? Bear with me here, guys, because it's just to give you the explanation about this question. Can we long 102K? Well, if the price decides to form a lower high here, okay, this is the general idea as explained of the bearish case, right? If this is the top of the fourth wave, and this is a wave 1, which we do not know, I do not know now, guys, right? Maybe we got a bullish case, this might fly. I don't think it's the case, but based on that question that somebody asked me of longing at 102K, if the price decides that this is a wave 1 and this is going to form a wave 2 in this region at 110, 111K, we form a lower high here, and then price starts dropping down in the next coming days very aggressively. If it's still dropping, and it turns into a bit of a waterfall situation, not interested. But if we do, you know, let's just say we miss out on those levels, we claim this low, it forms a little bit of a swing failure pattern, but then from the lows of last Friday, but then this correction, this movement gets a little bounce and then decides to roll over later. Of course, what we're looking at here is a possibility of a wave 5. A wave 5 on the higher time frame that can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it has to be this, right? If by coincidence your wave 3 finishes, and it forms a little bit of an SFP from this low, but bounces and ultimately comes back down and claims the low, you have a daily level and a naked point of control with that wave 5. And right, this would be a speculative scenario that can happen, right? That there is reasons to believe that this could happen. You are downtrending. This bounce can be corrective. This movement down can be impulsive. You got lots of resistance in this zone where the price can fail. This is where we need to take some decisions potentially in the next coming hours. If we do not break out successfully, we might break out successfully. There is a chance, as explained at the beginning of the stream. There is two bullish scenarios. One of them is the double 1-2, right? As explained, it can gain some momentum to the upside. We are uptrending today. So, this is going to be, no matter how bearish you are, be careful, manage risk as always. It's just one more trade that you add in the book. Okay, you need the rejection from this zone. If you do not reject, we go higher. But based on that explanation, let's just go through this explanation that I'm giving you right over here. That if we do form a 5-wave move down, the next move could be the aggressive one that drops, $5,000-$6,000 in a wave 3, claims the lows. You get a dead cat bounce, wave 4, then wave 5. What you're looking at here, if you form a dead cat bounce, 3-wavy structure, right, hitting the 236,382 Fibonacci from this latest move down, whatever. This is the moment you want to be ready for a reaction reclaim of the daily and this naked point of control at 101.4 or 101K, which is where we have a daily level. If you form a 5-wave move down and you're finishing the 5th wave of the 5th wave, you are literally having the potential of catching the low here. But you need this kind of structure. You need a 5-wave move, completed move. If you are breaking down here very aggressively in the 3rd wave still, then you might form the 4 and 5 later on here, right? So it really depends on where you at what stage are you at here. And the main reason why I gave you this explanation, because I just remembered the trade setup that was provided in the pro community about 2 weeks ago, which was that long trade from this movement, which is we need, as you can see here with this price action, we need that bounce. This was looking very corrective, kind of a double zigzag in this zone. Move down, bounce, more aggressive move down, and then this shallow bounce and another move down. That, what I explained is basically on the higher time frame would be more for a swing trade setup, but you also have here the naked point of control that was not tapped. There was a daily level here also, but we got it off the chart eventually. And if you're coming down into this zone in a fifth wave, if you reclaim it, you're looking for this relief rally. So, I mean, this is the explanation, right? It's just to give a bit of education. If this does happen, coming into the levels in a fifth wave on the higher time frame, well, you know, that's kind of what we're looking at here, right? That would be kind of what we're looking at. Boom, 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 4 and 5 daily. It depends on where the third wave finishes, right? So that's a little bit. We are pumping a little bit right now. We're just getting a little move here to the upside. Let's take a look at Bitcoin on the lower time frame. How about that? Smashing up the like button. How many likes do we have, guys? Let me do a recount on the like button. Bitcoin's getting a nice little bouncy at the moment. 200 likes. Let's see if we do go around the table and we get to 250 likes at least. And I'll go through the comment section. Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a bounce. Very choppy, overlappy structure here. Very choppy and overlappy. It doesn't look too bearish, this downtrend momentum that we had today. It looks very wedgy, very kind of corrective. Lots of overlap. And now we're kind of wanting to move up here to possibly claim the highs, which is going to start being interesting, where we have all of the levels. Will all of the levels be respected and faked out, or will we break out, right? This is the main zone. This is the main zone to see. If you break above them, then higher we go. Flip them as support. If you do get below them, they have a very good chance that, you know, this could have been the high, and you just form one more lower high and we come back down to the lows. So price is attempting here to get up there. It probably can get up here in the next coming 30 minutes, 1 hour maybe. Let's go through comment section, then we'll do a like recount. Okay, I'm going to go around the table, going to have a drink of water, and let's see if we can get to 250 likes. That would be awesome, guys. Lots of people watching, not many people smashing the like. I would say half of the people do smash the like button. Let's go around the table and come back for the likes, and then we'll go through the comment section. Basta. 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 Dogs want to go out, but not yet. Not yet. Comment section. Nico Soapy, how are you doing, brother? Much love to you. Quick comment section right now. Let's say hello. Hello from Manchester. Much love to my mother here. Much love. Thank you for joining. Got my mum in the comment section always. Please analysis. Soy coin. Is that sol or soy? It's not an L, is it? Coin. I'm from India. Much love to you. Soy. What is soy? Or Solana, right? It kind of looked like an I. I guess it's an L. I guess it's Solana. Thanks, Andy. Great analysis. Nico Soapy, much love to you, my man. Thank you very much. Let's see. Are we faking out from the major levels? We got levels to the upside, levels to the downside, and this is what it's all about. It's reaction at the levels. Reaction at the levels. Anchored VWAP, lower highs, SFP. These are important levels. Do we break or do we reject? Do we come down? Do we fake out from these lows? This is the last moment for the bulls. We got the expanding diagonal to the upside. Do we form a zigzag down and it holds and then we fly? If we were to come down there, maybe the low is in, guys. Maybe the low is in. Man, there is that scenario that the low could be in, and I have that gut feeling, guys, that this is going to explode out. I don't know why. Let's see if it does. I don't think so based on the analysis, but I have that gut feeling that maybe this is the 1-2, 1-2. And it's just a major second 2 here in a flat. Not liking it, but I don't know. I have a gut feeling, guys, that we're going to moon. Is it only me or is it you two, guys? I'm going to ask here, all right, in the community. I'm going to ask on a poll. What is your gut feeling? Gut feeling, guys, for the coming weeks. Let me know down below. Bullish, bearish, super bullish, bear market. Let's put that as an option. Get the votes in, guys. It will be interesting to see your gut feeling for the next coming weeks. All right, get your votes in right away, and we'll go through the comment section. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto Princess, guys, go and check out Crypto Princess. She did she did an interview. We did a very good collab. Go and check it out, guys. She does many collabs with different crypto people on her channel. She's here right now. Crypto Princess YouTube, much love to you. Thanks for joining and smashing up the like button. Go and check her out, guys, and subscribe to the channel. She does awesome interviews to all sorts of people in the crypto space. Okay, so let's see the votes here. All the people, I want that to get that out of the way. 47% bullish, 30% bearish. There is a battle here, guys. There is a battle. We get almost 100 votes here, and then just the last 2 minutes. And there is a bit of a battle here. Super bullish and bear market, 12%. Bit more people bullish. There are some bearish people here. There are some bears, 31. It's kind of stable, J Jack, much love, my man. One more low, says no. I am leaning on that scenario. Okay, I am leaning on that scenario. One more low makes sense. One more low makes sense. This movement up is horrible, guys. This movement up is horrible. When we talk about the bullish case scenarios, they have low probability, really, based on how we've structured this bounce. This bounce is horrendous. This bounce is horrendous. It doesn't look too bullish. It's counted better as a correction or part of a correction. It hasn't finished yet, as there's a few options still, as explained also on yesterday's video update. More calm, right? More, you know, there's a few different options that this could expand still for a few more days and then roll down. So it's not all bullish, even though if we get above this high and even this high still. So yeah, it could extend a little bit longer, unfortunately. There is no money in crypto, says Retinis. It can bullish or a lot anyway. It can bullish a lot anyway. Retinis, yeah, maybe. Bullish, says Crypto Princess. She's bullish. I voted already. Now it's asking to vote again and again and again. Congrats for the 100K. Idan Levy, much love. Thank you very much, my man. Yeah, 100K was reached a few weeks ago. We're just about to hit 101K. Bear market is in, says H. Komuna. Bullish or bearish, it's boring AF. I know it has been a little bit boring, but this is where, well, I mean, there has been some pretty good moves and pretty good levels that have been respected for some intraday. You know, make a few bucks in the market has been very possible the last few days. We gave one a few days ago. We gave a good rejection here from the anchored VWAP, SFP from the highs. I mean, this is a nice move of $4,000. You know, you could have made some nice gains. So it does feel boring because we don't have a big major move up or down. But these ranges, there are opportunities hidden in this range, just like the ones explained today as well. Is this a rejection zone or a break zone? We are going to have to see. Also down here, but we're kind of in the middle of, you know, these highs of Tuesday and the recent lows of yesterday. So if it rolls down from here, I have to say it's a difficult short. There's no short of interest here. We need to kind of try and break this high and have the potential of a lower high. So yeah, that could be interesting. Or if it comes down from here, sweeps up these lows and even these lows, it could be interesting if it does react here to take a decision. But there's been a good setup on Tuesday and actually yesterday at the weekly naked point of control. I mean, this was a very, very, very solid level, right? That's basically been bouncing in the last 24 hours and then got a nice relief rally of, you know, $2,000 plus. So yeah, but it is boring eventually, right? When we have the bags, especially the spot bags, right? But I think you need to literally create, you know, trade. You need to have some levels, have some plans, take some decisions with good risk management. And for that, you have the best exchanges down below, guys. You know, they just need an email and a password. You got Weeks, you got Bluffin, BTCC, you got several ones that they give insane bonuses to the people that sign up down below. Okay, the more you trade, the more bonuses you do get airdropped to your account. And you also get access to the VIP, okay, on Telegram. Send me a DM. If you sign up, do a minimum deposit, we'll get you access to the VIP, which I need to get some day trading setups in the next coming days. I'm tired of winning, says Axel. Absolute legend. Always winning. Bear market for sure, says Bas van Oygen. Bear market for sure. Yeah, the sentiment is bad. The sentiment in crypto, let's just refresh this. But yeah, we were in extreme fear yesterday. Fear. It's been fear for the last month. After the drop eventually, who's not going to be fearful after getting this insane collapse? Right? This is kind of the fear candle that obviously people are very, very skeptical on a reversal. But I can tell you that a reversal, big bounce on the higher time frame is highly likely, guys. With or without taking out this low. Because the big move happened when you consider Elliott wave theory, you already have the big move happened Friday 2 weeks ago. And now it's about the choppiness, the exhaustion, getting ready for the reversal to at least get above 116K. At least a bounce to this region. The overall question is, do we form one more low? One more lower high and one more low, and then we get the reversal, or you know, there is that little chance that this could be the low and it actually pumps above 116K. So regardless, this is the main question at the moment. Does the bounce happen with, you know, one more low or not? You obviously have your chances to speculate on that higher low. This was one of them based on the 1-2-1-2. Good support. You know, it's one of those trades that it's worth holding. It's worth holding if you did get in yesterday, because it does have the chance. The chance is there. The chance is there here. Not that I'm giving it the highest probability, but the chance is there, right? And it's all about chances and probabilities. Last night was a roller coaster, up down like 3K range. Yes, it was. It's a trap. We're going up soon. Tanmai. Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, no. As explained, when you have a high and you form a little downtrend and then you get a big move, okay, then you test the lows again of the big move. The dead cat after a big move, right? You get the small little downtrend, you get the big move, dead cat bounce, you test the lows of that move, the big move, and then you look for a significant reverse. Just because we have a chance of a couple of 1-2s here, it gives the chance for a couple of 4-5, 4-5, right? It's just and when we read the charts, this does count better as a corrective structure than a start of an impulse. 1-2, 1-2 doesn't look too great. Second 1-2 is extremely long. Expanding diagonal, you know, are rare motive wave structures. So if you can count a correction, which we can, you always need to give it the highest probability. So bounce for a lower high on the weekly, says Crypto SA. Could you look at Solana? Somebody was saying about Solana. I have not done anything on Solana, but we can do a little bit of freestyle on Solana and check here Solana, what's going on. Yeah, big rejection at a point of control that we had here on Solana. Solana. Let's take a look at some. I think on futures exchanges, we did actually come down to this point of control, right? This is Coinbase. But I think on futures, we did actually come down to the drop from the previous Friday or the 10th of October was pretty much aggressive, right? So Solana, yeah, I mean, if we do take a look at Solana on futures, I'm pretty sure on Binance it was pretty aggressive, or Bybit. Yeah, there we go. We had a pretty aggressive move down here on Solana, all the way to, I would say, the point of control of this entire range, right? Oof, you know, just about missing it by a few dollars. SFP of the lows, very aggressive. But best case scenario on Solana, sorry, is that you know, this uptrend structure does still maintain, right? You don't really want Solana to lose successfully this uptrend. I think Solana does have a good chance that it might form a higher low here in this region. You know, continuing the uptrend momentum. Best case scenario is 1-2, right? You want to form a higher low from $130. Obviously, catching this wick down is very complex. I would really pay attention on Bitcoin. If Solana were to roll down here, I would say that there could be a good long opportunity for a higher low. I don't think we're going to fill the entire wick on the futures exchange. But filling it partially, if Bitcoin does roll down, I mean, Solana looks still pretty okay. It is uptrending. You just got that major wick down. Uptrending, you know, higher low support trend is holding. Solana looks pretty okay. We're not going to go too much. I can get a Solana video ready for tomorrow. I'll get some stuff ready and some possible scenarios to get, you know, the different scenarios that could happen on Solana and get that ready for you tomorrow. Legends, thank you very much for joining. Getting tired now. I need to walk the dogs. Those are the levels, the scenarios on Bitcoin. Okay, I mainly look for trading opportunities on Bitcoin. Also Ethereum, mainly swings on Ethereum, but Bitcoin looking for intraday setups, as explained on the live stream today. Much love to everybody. There's liquidity up and down. Thanks for joining today. Got Staffer1 here, the absolute legend moderator, giving love and power. Sin Games also. Much love to everybody. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening or the morning, wherever you are in this world. Can you recap the BTC setup? The BTC setups, the BTC levels, they are inside of the stream. In the first hour, we do talk about them, but it's this range right over here and this range right over here. We're either looking for a breakout or a fake out. If it fakes out, then eventually we look for the reversal. The higher low right there, bullish case scenario is getting a bounce from this zone. So you need an SFP from here and fake out of the range point of control and the daily level. If you maintain above the level, I'm not interested. If we fake it out, then I'm interested in attempting the possible short trade. Much love to everybody. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you tomorrow.